I wanted to see, go around the room and introduce yourself and where you're from and how long you've been doing ballooning or tracking balloons or interested in it. We'll start back there with a real pioneer. This is Jim Scala, W-A-A-B-W-Y, who flew the chase plane on my very first flight 35 years ago.
Amazing, huh?
Yeah. Steve, introduce yourself.
Steve Molo, KI4 KWR, brand ambassador for Gigaparts.
And Gigaparts is our wonderful ham radio store right here in Huntsville, Alabama. They have a branch in Las Vegas too.
Las Vegas, yeah.
Felicia Griggins, I'm a STEM teacher at the Hale County College and Career Academy in Greensboro, Alabama. I'm new to this. This is my first event, so we're hoping to learn a lot.
Well, you will.
This is the place to be for that.
I'm Don Robinson. I work with NASA, as Bill alluded to. I work for a contractor, but we do space launch system related things, and especially Artemis 1. We had that success. We're looking forward to an Artemis 2 success. But Bill and I have talked about balloons for many years, and we've been good friends for many years, and I'm just glad to be here to hear the conference, and that's about it.
Here too.
Jim Emmert, WB0URW, Pella, Iowa. I've been flying balloons for about 10 years, high altitude for 10 years, and Picos for about 5 years now.
My name is Steve Adcock. I'm from Benton, Kentucky. Call signs KF4KNF. I haven't done a whole lot of ballooning. A friend introduced me to it when I lived in Colorado through the Edge of Space Science group out there. And now I'm here in Kentucky wanting to do a little Pico balloon. So I'm big into electronics and I want to design a flight computer for it. So that's why I'm here.
John Deneen, KC0L, with Edge of Space Sciences in Colorado. I also do work with Plano High Altitude Balloon Group in Plano, Texas. I've been doing this for about 20 years. And Bill, thank you for the great facility and the great location. This is fabulous.
Hi, I'm Marty Griffin, WA0GEH with Edge of Space Sciences out of Colorado. And we are up here flying our 343rd flight over the last 30 years. And I'm proud to say we've recovered every one of them. And hopefully we're not going to break that record. Glad to be here, and our very first flight was 30 years ago, and Bill was living in New Hampshire at the time, and we had a 10-meter beacon on it, and he kept telling us it's alive. So we were able to chase it with an airplane and a bunch of chase vehicles. But
No, take care of it.
I'm Carlton Corbett, KI4NHK. So I've been a part of a bunch of different balloon groups, from UCART to RoboMo to Intros to can't find enough balloons in Decatur, so I'm just doing my own. So.
Now, Carlton, you used to be in Missouri, right?
Yeah. That's why we did the Moscow Mills one years ago. And yeah. So yeah, I got the RoboMo group in the ballooning, and yeah, that was just a hobby electronics club, and then everybody started getting their hand license, and they realized, oh, well, that's the new electronics we're going to be doing in this group. So.
Then we actually used a chainsaw to recover one of the payloads down that point.
Yeah, Paul thought that was the fast way.
I have a photo.
He didn't want to climb the tree for some reason.
I have pictures of you climbing the tree. That I think is there.
Oh, but yeah, the time I did that in Kansas City?
No, we were in Missouri, St. Louis area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because there was that time I climbed the tree out for y'all in Kansas City as well.
Yeah, maybe that's the one I'm thinking. Oh, yeah, that is the one I'm thinking of. Where we had the dogs and all that.
Yeah.
Useless one.
Yeah. We wore out the dogs.
Chris, you gonna introduce yourself?
No.
Middle school.
Yeah,
Mike Frank, huh?
Christopher, middle schooler.
I'm Claudine Beaudry. This is my first time here. He drug me here. So, I am also a middle school science teacher at McNair Junior High in Huntsville, so I'm also kind of intrigued to see what how I might even be able to incorporate something like this into my 8th grade science class. Realize it's physical science, but I guess I'm very new. I mean, I shot off rockets when I was a kid. That's about the most I've done.
That was a good start.
A little bit.
A little different. I grew up in Montana, so I mean, I don't know if there was a lot of ballooning up in there.
China did that.
Well, Greg, you're next to introduce yourself.
I'm Greg Allison,
Hello, you're on the air.
on the air. I worked with Bill 30 some odd years ago launching rockets and balloons out of the Gulf of Mexico on the East Coast and made the Guinness Book of World Records. I ran this little project called the How To Liftoff Program, and then we started a company together called Heart. And so we've had a lot of fun with that, and I just wrote a 44-page paper for the just wrote a 44-page paper with EMP Task Force of National Homeland Security vis-a-vis EMP threat from Chinese military balloons.
And we'll be talking about that next up.
And that prompted the, is one of the things that said that prompted Senate Bill 1631, but it's more for UAVs than anything else. It really don't address the balloon threat problem. It still needs to be addressed. And I've got a YouTube channel, Green Greg's, where I cover all this stuff, and Galactic Greg's, a couple of my YouTube channels. So if y'all are interested, it's on YouTube. Anyway, so that's some of the stuff I do, among other things.
I'm Mike Heinowski, K2BAT. Jules and I are from New York, Cornell University, so I'm the advisor to the Amateur Radio Club there, and because ballooning is my big hobby, somehow the Amateur Radio Club says, oh, you like to do that? We'll do that too. So we pretty much do a launch every semester at this point. I keep telling them there's other things in ham radio, and they keep building balloons, so okay. Jules and I also work with a couple of schools in our area, or not necessarily close to us. We've taken a road show out to Olean and out to Rochester several times, where we literally build surface mount device trackers, and the students build them and put them in a reflow oven and we fly them. So we've done stuff like that as well. So happy to be here. You're up.
Well, I wasn't sure what Bill was doing. I'm Jules. I used to work at Cornell University. I volunteer there now. I worked with Carl Sagan for 5.5 years. That's my claim to fame.
Billions and billions of years ago.
He never said that. He never said that.
All right. I'm Wayne McCain from Athens State University.
Doctor.
Doctor. Just don't call me late for dinner. Anyways, we launched with Bill help our first balloon last year at Field Day in Athens, and we're hoping to do more. We're also working on a radio astronomy CubeSat that's supposed to be launched next first or second quarter next year. Would love to have some of you teachers who might be interested in satellites to get with me, and I'll tell you about how to set up a tracking station. We're looking for tracking stations all over the country, so love to work with you there. Thank you.
David Osby, WB4NCT. Old hound is still learning new things, and the latest thing was about 4 years ago, I guess. Bill came to our field day and did our first balloon launch for the Limestone Ferries Club, which is about 20 miles west of here. So I'm local. I'm also an alumni of Athens State, so I've been working with Dr. McCain on this CubeSat project for the last year and enjoying that. Got a chance to go down to the Cape and see some real rockets, and so Yeah, we're all still 12-year-old at heart, so. I was here in the 60s when they tested the Saturn V and my windows would shake and mother would grab dishes. So grew up here in the Huntsville area around rocketry, and so it's good to still be playing with rockets and balloons. So anyway, I'm the old guy with the soldering iron. I helped the good doctor here build all the circuit boards. So I've got my, this is actually the circuit for our CubeSats. It's good to be here. Looking forward to it.
Can I have the shirt off your back?
I'm Jim Langstead, KC0RPS from Golden, Colorado, Edge of Space Sciences, and I've been doing it about 20 years. And we launch a lot of latex balloons, and we've done one pico balloon.
Carl Lister, Knoxville, Tennessee. Been launching balloons on and off for 33 years. I've worked primarily with the University of Tennessee and some of the guys from the CubeSat for Ring Astronomy.
Carl launched his first balloon about 3 years after my first balloon. He's one of the true pioneers in doing it.
It was a 20th anniversary of Armstrong landing on the moon.
Right.
And we had his voice recording being transmitted out of the balloon, as well as Kennedy's address to Congress authorizing the balloon.
I picked that one up.
Okay.
I'm Tom McElroy, W4 SDR, and I haven't launched a balloon in 14 months, but
Don't get over it.
We've been launching balloons as a family for about 13 years now. I'm going to let my son Jack here talk about his most recent launch. We've recovered every latex balloon we ever launched, and one of them landed in a place that is a very embarrassing place. I can tell you about it later. But,
Oh, tell us now, we want to
it
know.
landed in a nudist colony.
We missed one by about 1,000 feet.
Yeah, we had to call them up and say, if you don't mind, we've got a camera, we got a box and a camera in your tree that we'd like to get the pictures from.
Yeah.
But STEM teachers, one of the things we found, Jack's sister Audrey is now crushing electrical engineering at Georgia Tech. She got into her STEM academy in high school through high altitude balloons, courtesy of that gentleman right there. And she got into Georgia Tech with her capstone project, was launching nematodes in the near space. Georgia Tech lost their minds when they saw her application. So this is where you want to be, because when you do ham radio, talking across the pond to someone is of no interest to young kids at all. But when you say you can use one of these to track one of those, now you've got their attention and you've got the classroom around. And this young gentleman has taught those classrooms in the past, so you can talk to him about that. He's given many lectures on high altitude ballooning to children and classrooms. I say all this, I'm not just a proud father, as you know I am, but my wife and I tried to bring ham radio and high altitude ballooning as the normal thing to do for kids, not something out in the fringes. That other stuff is in the fringes as far as we're concerned. This is where it's at, and we're proving that every day. He's a rising 10th grader. Audrey entered Georgia Tech as a sophomore because of all the experience she's had with the amateur radio. So I tell you all of you that because ARL keeps putting cover QST guys that look like me. That ain't the future.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, Tom, mention also that Audrey was the Young Ham of the Year last year.
Audrey McElroy, KM4BUN, is Young Ham of the Year still up to this moment. And GigaParts has been very accommodating to Audrey, and we thank them from the bottom of our hearts. She's now vice president of the Amateur Radio Club for Georgia Tech. If your kids are looking for a way to get college paid for, this is how you do it. You should have that sticker on your laptop there, Jack.
ARDC.
ARDC, Bill Karn, that's where you go. So our effort here, excuse the long speech, but our effort here is we need people to fill our shoes. And we need to keep this hobby going. High altitude ballooning is really it. If you want to talk some more about it, as you can tell, I'll talk all day.
He's going to be a hard act to follow. Well, thanks for the introduction.
You're welcome, son.
So I don't really have much to say because of him, but yeah, we've been launching balloons for several years now. We've learned a lot from Bill, a lot from other people. We started off in our local club. One of our friends, he said, you know, how would we launch one of these big old latex balloons? And we were wondering, what are these? Helped them with it, and we fell in love with that ever since. And a little bit after GPSL, in a few weeks, I'm going to be remotely controlling a launch, 2 balloon launches up in Ottawa with a club called, or a camp called Yoda, or Yoda. It's a camp that's designed to basically keep kids in ham radio, not to bring them in. Because, you know, so many kids, they go into ham radio because their parents force them to. You know,
Force them into nudist colonies. I've heard that.
Yeah, but you know, they force them to do it because, along with what that said, they want them to get college scholarships. But these kids don't like amateur radio because they're sitting behind radios. And so what Yoda Camp does is show these kids that ham radio is more than just sitting behind the radio for hours on end contesting, and they can be playing other things such as ballooning, satellites, fox hunting, radio orienteering, all of that. So I'll be remotely controlling the launch there, and thank you.
Oh, but you can't go without talking about KM4 ZIA-3. How many orbits around the Earth?
Yeah, so thanks to Tom McKinney, who went down to Antarctica. He carried, or he launched one of our balloons down there and went around the globe several times.
But that was the second one.
It was the second one. Our first one to circumnavigate the globe, we launched about 2 years back in May. Went around the world about 4 or 5.5 times and ended this journey over Manchuria, China, where it was most likely shot down.
Retribution.
It also danced between the North Warning radar stations up in the Arctic Circle. It literally went back and forth between, the former DEW line. It was flying directly in front of their radars, transmitting his call sign. Wasn't mine.
Shot at it, transmit.
I'm Shane Wilson in 4XWC, and like several of you, Bill got me into ballooning. It was an accidental random APRS contact, and he was coming away from, I think he was leaving Huntsville, going back home somewhere, and I saw him driving by my house and contacted him and he said he was doing this. And I love to look for things that are lost. And, you know, I've been to a bunch of launches, but I'm kind of into the tracking and recovery phases of it. So, so far I hadn't made too many that I couldn't get out of a tree or a pond or water or somewhere. So, just glad to be here and maybe help recover some of these tomorrow. I'm local, by the way, just right down the road.
My name is Margaret Ratcliffe, and I met Bill a while back at Grissom Air Force Base a long time ago, and when I was at Purdue, and he introduced a lot of the folks at Purdue to ballooning and especially the engineering and technology students. Shortly thereafter, we had a Google Lunar X Prize team, and so it was Don and Greg and Bill and a bunch of other folks, and back in 2007, 2008, up to I think 2011 is when we finished. Now I'm at Eglin Air Force Base. I still work for the Air Force. So anyway, very happy to be here. Bill has been an amazing resource for ballooning and all that, especially for the young people. So thank you.
I'm Mike Morgan,
LX4s near space. I think I started flying balloons with USS. I lived in Denver. USS 49, 2001 was my introduction, and that ruined my life. Flying balloons. Moved to Pella, Iowa 16 years ago, and I brought everything I learned from EOSS to Pella. It's a town of 11,000 people, so that was a whole new experience for everybody in Pella. And I now teach a 1 hour a week at a senior physics, high school physics class. We start in September, and we try to fly sometime before school's out in the spring. And I just like to second the STEM side of things. Although Jim and I really like to fly balloons, I really like to watch students fly balloons. I think our most successful young student was given a full ride to Caltech in chemistry and engineering, and is currently working at JPL out there in the Pasadena area. So, if you can expose them to the right things in a fun way, good things can happen.
So, Jeff Kaiser, W0DLK, and Keith and I have been doing high altitude ballooning since about 2005. And our first introduction to it was we went to a Northland Aries meeting, and Troy Campbell, I'm sure probably a lot of you know Troy, was doing a presentation on high altitude ballooning. So we talked to him and his wife Cindy after, and it just sounded so intriguing, and he invited us to go with and to help recover. And so we did, and we were hooked. And so we just have been doing it since then.
I'm Keith, the A0TJT. I'm with her. She's definitely not with me, I'm with her. We're kind of set back now on GPS. GPSL is our favorite event to go on every year. We don't launch many balloons. I've launched way too many already, mostly with the scouting programs. 2013 I did 4 of them out of West Virginia, and 2017 I did 3 Picos out of there. And it's been a fun ride. Really enjoyed it. We have lost 1 balloon, for all you guys that never lost one. I don't blame anybody. It was raining too hard to go into the bean field and grab it that day. I told them to leave it, we'd come back. After several trips back, nobody could find it. I still say the deer took it away. So I'm officially on camera saying the deer took it. They tripped on the parachute lines, and off it went. We never saw the thing again. So
Did it have your call sign on it?
it had everything on it, but deer can't read. So deer can't read. It just got dragged off in a 1 square mile green field and probably off to the side, but there's no way to walk around the edges and big troughs.
Okay, what I claim is I haven't lost one with my call sign on it.
Oh, I get it. But you did recover one with mine on it, so.
So it evens out again.
Yeah, there you go. So we do appreciate it. This is a great event. I absolutely love coming to this thing, so thank you.
My name is Ron, WX4 GPS, and I've been involved with high altitude balloons probably early 90s. I got into the hobby in around 92, and I got involved with a group up in out of Baraboo. I think they were called Near Space Science, and went on a few recoveries with them and used APRS, and I've always enjoyed APRS. That's why I got GPS in my call sign, and I'm a weather enthusiast, so the WX4. But I've launched, I actually have never myself inflated a balloon, but I'm always providing trackers to different people to fly. I've helped out with Spaceport, Indiana, doing recoveries, base out of Greencastle, Indiana. Gosh, I did a Pico balloon with Winburn Elementary School. Jenny McCall, she's working on her amateur license. She's a 8th grade science teacher in Lexington.
And we flew a Pico balloon, came down on the Russia-Mongolia border. That was under my call sign -11. And I've got another Skytracker of Bill's that I'm probably going to attempt inflating a Pico and doing it all myself, but yeah, I enjoy the hunt. I enjoy fox hunting. I wouldn't even mind throwing up a latex balloon just with a transmitter on it and doing it the old way, like Bill used to do back in the late '80s. So I enjoy it. This is my second GPSL, so good to see everybody here.
Cool. My name is Dwayne, N5XUL. Used to live in the Memphis area. I moved to the Knoxville area, so Carl, you and I got to talk. I like to hook up with you guys because I'm looking for a team if I do balloon launches with. I've launched one balloon that was in Hutchinson, Kansas. That was 2015 or whatever it was when we were back there. Didn't make it out to the West Coast when you guys went out there, but I kind of like hanging out with you guys because you guys are cool. Thanks for not kicking me out.
My name is Darby. I'm an atmospheric science student here at UAH. I've only been working with balloons as long as I've been here, so I'm a lot less experienced than most of the people in here, but I'm excited to learn.
I'm Cliff Brown, KW4CL. Been doing this for about 8 years, I guess. I've launched 3 latex balloons. Hopefully the 4th will launch tomorrow. It's just a lot of fun. Keeps me off the streets.
I'm a Brian Bennett, KN4FEM, and I helped Cliff with 3 of the launches, and any excuse to get outdoors, I always enjoy.
I'm Mark Garrett, K9SCX. Known Bill since about 1987 and kind of been involved with a couple of balloon flights of his. And I'm located in Macomb, Illinois. It's western Illinois. Not much going on there, so I've kind of turned some of my attention to fox hunting, DFing down radiosondes that may occasionally come due south or even come due west. And that's where my hobby is stuck at right now while I'm still out in western Illinois.
And by the way, if any of your Pico balloons fly over western Illinois, he's the man to recover it because he's recovered several that have landed within about a 50-mile radius of you.
I need to get whisper.
Yeah, yeah. And Mark, he ran chase on my 3rd balloon ever and arranged the launch site in Illinois near Champaign. So that payload there is that one we flew on.
Yeah, what's the matter?
Yeah, and the batteries still work on it. It's 34 years old on that payload. I brought a rare appearance of my 2 payloads. That's my very first flight payload in 1987, August 15th. I launched it on my birthday. And that one to the right is the second live camera flight we ever did.
Bill, in 1986.
What's that?
It was in 86.
87.
Was it?
It was 87. So, but anyways, feel free to take a look at the payloads when you get a break.
Yeah, my name is Christopher Tomrish. I'm a student at UAH, part of UAH's Space Hardware Club. I've launched over 100 balloons. I'm currently a PhD student in physics, and the research is detecting radiation from thunderstorms. So we fly balloon payloads through some thunderstorms to detect like gamma rays and X-rays. I've worked at NASA doing Artemis 1 software testing. I currently work on warp drives. And then I co-founded a company on AI. So
you're going to basically take over the world.
Yeah, AI and engineering.
All right, my name is Tom McKinney. I'm also a member of the Space Hardware Club here at UAH. I also work over at the Earth Atmospheric Science Department. So that's over at the Swirl Building in the NSSDC. Like I already said, we do a lot of severe weather research. I focus a lot on air quality as well, specifically ozone in the troposphere. and making measurements with ozone LiDAR and Doppler wind LiDAR as the balloons, of course, ozone songs, anything to do with balloons. I have my hand in here at this university. So, I work for Dr. Mike Newchurch. He was supposed to be here today to kind of give some opening remarks on behalf of the university, so I'm just here to say he wanted to be here, but he couldn't. So yeah, I've been working with Bill a lot. I think it's been like 5 years now. We've done a lot of Pico balloon launches from UAH. We've done latex balloon flights, and we'll hear some of the talks of what Space Harbor Club's been up to.
And he's the one that sent 8 people balloons up from Antarctica, and you'll have a talk.
We'll have a talk on that. So yeah.
I've been the coordinator for.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
I've helped set this stuff up.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Introduce yourself.
I think everybody knows who I am by now.
They don't.
Anyway, I'm Beth Dieter, and my call sign is WB4 ESA. His is WBA. I've been in it long enough to know the difference now between a CB radio and hand radio.
They cost more.
And he started me in it, and I got my license one at a time. And now I'm higher than him. And he lets people know.
She got her extra class and didn't tell me she did it until I saw a Facebook post with her holding the pass.
Well, I didn't have any idea what ham radio was. It's all his fault. But we've been on chases. I've been on chases where there's several in here. Mark was the first one that I went with, and Shane, I've been with him. I've been with Keith and Deb, and this little man over here, Greg Allison. I've been on lots of stuff. It's been an adventure, a wild adventure. We have climbed a lot of stuff, from trees to towers.
Yeah, if you have a tower, she loves to climb towers.
Well, I climbed a tower the first time I did, and Greg was with us when we did. I didn't know there were rules to climb towers.
Safety belts, none of that, yeah.
So I went 400 feet before they stopped me. Party poopers. Anyway, that's my story. The rest is history. And
By the way, tell them about the prizes we'll be doing in the top of each hour.
the prizes, like I said earlier, some of them are pretty silly. Some of them are just souvenirs to let you know to let people know they've been here. Some are very nice. We've got donations from Gigaparts. We've got you got radios, right?
I've got the tracker.